On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
We're coming in hot in the studio. We got Jenny and Maddie in today. Zach is out playing around, acting like he's working or doing something probably, but we're here, holding it down strong.
He's on assignment.
Yeah.
Zach is on assignment.
He is. He's on a very important assignment.
Budding in business.
Proud of him. I'm proud of him.
filling in for Matt, so Matt can be here to help produce the show. So it's all kind of just a fill-in scenario. We haven't done an in-person one in about a month or so. Do I have something on my face?
No, I was scratching my chin.
Oh, I thought it's like, when somebody's like going like this to their tooth or tapping their tooth and you think, oh, something is in my tooth. It was like that.
Oh, that's fun. I don't know about y'all. But do y'all right now feel the best time ever in fall and the weather is so great?
He acts like it's about the weather. It's about the football.
It is about the football.
It's about the
I'm
football.
not going to lie.
That's fine.
It makes me happy to see you happy.
It is football season. Both of my teams did very well this weekend. That made me happy.
Listen, I was happy a couple weeks ago. The temperature got down to the point where I could justify opening the windows, and I was like, I'm gonna have the windows open. I'm gonna breeze the house out a little bit, and then it got right back up to being hot again. But I enjoyed that like one weekend
That's a typical Texas
Yeah.
fall day where you wake up and it's freezing in the afternoon. It gets hot.
I'm a summer girl, but I love Texas falls, Texas winters. I mean, it's honestly, I love our weather year round. It's probably my favorite thing about living here.
Mm-hmm. Well, talking about a little bit of foosball, we're going to do a football heavy.
Oh my
day.
gosh! Don't tune out if you're not into football. We'll
As
wrap
you
it
know,
around to
we
the second
will.
shot topic.
Yeah, we'll turn it into some of the other stuff, even if you don't like football. Okay, but the first headline,
Let's hear it, newsman.
personal favorite, because it's about the Packers, which is my team. Go Pack, go! It says Rodgers' clutch drive gives Packers legitimacy. Facing a 28-27 deficit, they at their 25-yard line, 37 seconds left. That was it. Rodgers to Devontae Adams took care of business, got it all the way down, 0 timeouts for the field goal kicker to kick the field goal and for the Packers to win on Sunday Night Football.
Summarize what that means.
What?
Well, just what's the crux of the story?
It is that's what I just did. I mean, was that not describing
He
it?
saved the team. He what?
They won. I mean, that was right. There was 37 seconds left, no timeouts, and he drove it down the field to win on Sunday Night Football. Now, the whole kick behind it that got me the most was that Aaron Rodgers has been in a lot of talk over the offseason with, all the drama around it. But the first game of the season, he had not had a lot of time practicing with the team. They come out and got blew out on the very first game. And people were already just saying he was probably done. He doesn't want to be there. This is going to be a wash for the team. And they've come out now and won 2 straight games, including that one, which was in like epic Aaron Rodgers fashion. Like to do it where not many quarterbacks can pull that off. You have very little time left, no timeouts, and you've got to get down there and do it. This is not a good thing. But he did it. What I get from it and take the most is like Aaron Rodgers has notoriously been that person with a chip on his shoulder. And if a chip is on his shoulder, he goes crazy. He had like 2 or 3 kind of down years, and they were saying the same thing. And then he comes out last year with a chip on his shoulder and won MVP and went nuts with it all. And, I think there's a lot of times a lot of us can take criticism or some setbacks, or we're being told maybe we're too old and we need to find a different career, right? We've washed up in this or that or any of those things, where there's certain people that take all of those and turn them into fuel. Aaron Rodgers is one of them. he takes doubters, he takes concerns, he takes people telling him he can't do it or this or that, and he goes every single time and takes that chip, fuels it for him to do something really great with it. And it got me to thinking that if more of us could take the chip and create fuel for ourselves, what could we achieve? Like instead of the feedback or criticism or people talking negatively about us, letting it get us down, what if we looked at it like some of these greats that take that as fuel?
Yeah, like oh, I'll show you, kind of thing. I'll show you. Okay, I love that perspective. When I was thinking about this one, it just I went in a little bit of a different direction with it in terms of a second shot, and that is, never to believe the hype about you, but also the bad things about you. You know you. And so if all we feed off of for our performance, whether it's game time performance, career performance, performance as a parent, as a spouse, is like what other people say about you, eventually somebody's going to say something bad. And then what are you going to believe that too? Yeah. Like, oh, I'm ruined because this person who actually knows nothing about me, saw me play one game, saw me do one thing, says I'm bad. Now I'm going to live into that. So it's like, don't believe your own hype or your own PR, your own press, your own media for the good or for the bad. Because I feel like, and I'm not in the big into the football realm, but I feel like people use those words like, has been or past their prime or washed up, all those different things that can be said about a person. And if somebody's saying like, you're only leaning into when people say you're amazing, then all of a sudden one day they're not saying that anymore. And then you start to believe it. Yeah. Well, don't let them take that from you. That is terrible. So it just shows like he wasn't believing, he's probably blocking out all of it, because otherwise you really can sort of become the person that people say you are as opposed to the person you actually are. Because here's the thing, when everybody starts out, nobody's good at football. They have to become that. That's from within. And it's not outside hype, but people transition from like their inner knowing to believing the outside hype and then forget who they actually are. Yeah. So I think that's just like a good reminder for all of us. It's really easy to like, take the pats on the back and so people say I'm great at this. And then just like as an aside with this one too, like additionally is to like nobody's ever passed their prime. Yeah. I realize there are some limitations with things like athletics and things like that. But I mean, if you were good at something once, you are still that same person. Yeah. New people may come in, but you had to innovate in order to get there and to get good. So surely you can do it again.
Well, what's interesting is I love what you're saying, because I think people can fall into the hype of what others say and they can get lazy with it. But I think that I've always taken chips. I've always had the chips on my shoulders when I do the best. Like me personally, when I'm told you can't do this, or I can tell people like, that's a little crazy, I literally go harder and do whatever I can. Like when I started off in sales, I can't tell you how many times in door-to-door sales and stuff that you get hey, just so you know, before we get started, I'm not purchasing anything today. Man, when a customer told me that, game on. Yeah. You were not getting me out of your house till you purchase something. I'm telling you.
That's great. We're so the opposite in that way. When somebody says that to me, I curl up into a ball and roll away and never show up again and probably move to a different planet. Yeah.
And how many times have we had it where somebody said no and you're like, they said no, and I'm like, no. And
I'm like, this is so uncomfortable, babe. They said no, like stop. Yeah. But he keeps going. What are you thinking on this, Matt?
Well, along the same lines as you, and this is something that I've tried to keep in mind as I've gotten older and as I've gotten farther along in my career, which is to keep in mind like where the criticism is coming from. And I always try to remind people, especially when they're feeling down, if somebody has said something about them, I'm like, is this somebody that whose opinion you would value in any other time? And I'm not saying you shouldn't value other people's opinion, but like, honestly,
well, no, you shouldn't. Yeah. Some people you should not.
Sometimes you shouldn't. And I'm like, why let them bring you down because they said some sort of comment? And just always recognize that, where is this criticism coming from? Is this something that I should even be paying attention to or not? I'm reminded of a different sport. I'll take it to my sport, which is basketball. And I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he was a short time NBA player. I mean, he'd maybe only played a few professional minutes, sat on the bench for the most time, and was constantly being harassed by fans by saying, I could beat you, like I could play better than this guy, like why is this guy in here? And he said, fine. And he challenged a few of them to one-on-one, and it just absolutely smoked them. And at the end of it, he was like, I'm closer to Michael Jordan than you are to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't forget that. And so he didn't take that criticism as
that.
like,
I
I'm a
love
bad
that.
basketball player.
I love
He's like,
that.
I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. And maybe I'm not as good as these other guys, but you're not going to sit there and criticize me and make me feel bad about it. So like
that's
recognize where you're the professional, recognize where you have all those talents and what you can do with that and what should bother you and shouldn't.
You know, it's funny because I heard somebody say during what would make the Olympics more entertaining is if before every event they took amateurs that were maybe doing it at D1 or college level, whatever, and did the same events before the Olympic athletes just to give you like really how big of a feat, how like you know, because it's hard to know when it's all Olympians racing each other, right?
True.
But you put, say, a bunch of D1 college athletes, hey, done well, and then they smoke them. It's like, oh, that in comparison makes a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So true. That's a good point, babe.
And so, if anything else over this story, besides the fact that my Green Bay Packers are on a roll and they're back,
go.
Take the things that we're talking about, because I believe in the old Steve Jobs quote, you can never connect the dots forward, you can only connect them backwards, right? So like the things that may come your way, you don't know why and you don't understand it and go backwards with it. A lot of times I watch the people let things keep them down versus turning them to fuel. And I want to challenge you to keep that in your mind. Keep it going when things come up, criticism comes, right? You know, like Matt's story, get the basketball player, go out there and show them what's up, right? And what you were talking about, Jenny, when it comes to not believing your own hype or believing the others, right? Like these things can be turned to fuel. You can let criticism defeat you, or you can let criticism fuel you. I hope next time you choose fuel. We'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
Psst. Hey, it's Zach. I'm in my apartment recording this audio so Matt can sneak it into the show before Jenny and Heath hear it. I know they always do the sponsor reads, but guys, I had to get in here so I could tell you about Energy Ogre. They've been a longtime supporter of the show, and this summer, Christine and I finally signed up to see if they're really as good as Heath and Jenny say, and guys, Energy Ogre is totally legit. It's crazy. Check this out. You sign up for Energy Ogre for just $10 a month. You send them your most recent power bill, and the team at Energy Ogre will run the numbers to find out how you can save more money on your bill by switching to a different provider. Then they'll switch you over to that provider for you, and you'll immediately start saving money that you would have been spending on whatever company was ripping you off in the first place. Christine and I switched over this summer, and I've been kicking myself for not signing up earlier ever since. We saved so much off our power bill that we paid for Energy Ogre's service fee, and now we got a little extra scratch for date night. If you live in Texas, if you're in a house or an apartment, whatever, go to energyogre.com right now and put in the promo code SecondShot, and you can get your first month totally free. Support Energy Ogre, support Second Shot, and support your savings by switching to Energy Ogre.
All right, Matt, I've got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody out there, please go to the Second Shot Facebook group and comment on this if you hear it and make a deal. But my wife tells me at Brighton School that we got this. She literally was offended at me that I was so like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, because the school is having something where we bring wherever the students bring their animals up there.
Oh.
And so they can bless the animals. And when Jenny told me that, I actually thought it was a joke. And I was like, yeah, right. Not a chance in hell I'm taking Charlie up there for it. And she literally got mad at me. I went, oh my God, this is real.
How come you not heard of the blessing of the animals?
I can say I've never heard of blessing of the animals.
October, across many different faiths, by the way. He's pray for himself. He's not about to pray for Charlie. Thank God Charlie has a blessing day at Brighton School, or he would just be totally left out in the dust.
I thought it was a little different.
I know. We're getting used to all the new. Brighton's been in preschool before in her Spanish immersion school, but this is the first time like at a school that's going to go up through, hopefully several other grades. And so there's the school carnival, there's like the back to school fair, there's the mom's night, the mom's coffee, the dad's lunch, there's so many different events. I almost feel like we might need to quit our jobs in order to participate fully.
Be full-time school parents.
Now, understand, let me make a disclaimer. I don't hate animals. I love animals. I'm all about animals, okay? Just the fact of me taking Brighton's and her dog up there for blessing of the dog was a little bit like,
Stop it.
you know, like you can't tell me it doesn't sound funny.
Well, what I'm
Go
just
bless
like,
our dogs up at the
curious
school.
for how this is going to go down with everybody in the school bringing their dogs and cats.
Yeah, exactly. Is somebody going to take like the goldfish or something? And the
Babe,
cat eat
that
it?
is rude. Cut him off. You guys
What
tell him how rude.
Matt, is this insane or not? You're a dog person. I'm an animal person too.
Look, I am yes, I'm an animal person. I'm a dog person. I have several. I've heard of this. I've never done it, so I don't know what that says about me.
Heath will come and pick up the animals on his way to school.
But no, I've never done it. It is. I don't know. Like I feel like as a social thing, it might be fun. You know, all the kids get to bring their dogs up. Everybody gets to see their dogs. Everybody loves showing off their dogs to other people, right?
Yes.
So that could be a fun thing, I guess. You could look at it that way, I suppose. Whether or not they need to be blessed, I don't know. I think one of my dogs needs to be exercised, but I don't know about blessed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're continuing with the sports headlines.
Talking
babe.
about some blessings, right? This would be a blessing for Tom Brady, I think. Another football headline, just because we're doing football week this week. We're right in the thick of football season,
yeah.
you know. Tom Brady addresses return to New England, not a time to reminisce. So, give you caught up, Tom Brady spent his entire career with the New England Patriots, won 6 Super Bowls, one of the most successful head coach quarterback duos of all time, most wins. That many, 6 Super Bowl rings, but probably we're in 10 or 11 Super Bowls total. I mean, it's a very crazy story. On the surface, to everybody else in the world, Tom Brady nor Bill Belichick or the Patriots have ever said anything bad about each other. Now, obviously, something went wrong because Tom Brady left and went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year and won a Super Bowl, and the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
And he never brought it up or was like, see guys, you need me, you should pay me more.
Never.
Nothing.
Never did any of that. And neither has the Patriots. Patriots haven't talked bad about him either. Which is pretty incredible. I have a feeling when it's all said and done at the end of the day, at some point or another, it'll come out. But I think Tom Brady felt dissed by the Patriots, but he won't admit it. That's what everybody says. And he's went out and really stuck it to him by not saying anything, really, by just his actions of winning a Super Bowl and them not. But he's talking about it's not going to necessarily reminisce because this week he goes back to the Patriots, plays them in Foxborough as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and everybody widely agrees that the fans are going to have probably a really big deal of like, we love you, Tom, nothing against you, because it's all been handled so well, right? Nobody's mad or angry at others. It seemed like a very nice little part, but it wasn't really, but it looks that way. And now he's going back, and he's going to be loved. Everybody's going to love him no matter what there is. It kind of made me think about taking those higher roads when things go on with you and how I know like when I interview people and I ask about their previous job, if they go into a whole bunch of like, well, I just didn't get this and it was all woe is me, like I typically run from those people.
Red flag city.
Now I can tell also the ones like Tom Brady and them speaking in public, it's all nice, but you can tell they weren't done very right. And those are the people I want because they're not trying to. They're trying to be as nice as they can by being honest, right? And I think times we got to realize that burning bridges and busting out and doing that is not a good look for us. And people will remember those things, right? Like taking that high road and praising it and being good makes you seem a much better like individual, right? By not taking that low road. What do you think?
I just think that the best revenge, if revenge is what you seek, is your own success. Like nobody ever proved a point by convincing somebody else that you were done wrong. Like nobody wants to hear that. Nobody's interested. Even if they ask 5 seconds in, they're probably not interested. They're probably like, I'm sorry I asked. Why are you spewing this negativity? Because in the 5 minutes that you were spewing the negativity, you could have been working on your own next success. And again, like I'm not much of a like revengey kind of person, but I fully embody the idea that if something's not going well for you or a deal didn't turn out, that means it's not for you. Like that is not for you. And so the wasted breath on living in it means that you're still in it, but like not getting paid for it or not being compensated for it or whatever the thing is, you're still over here while everybody else is elevating. So it's like, don't be the person who's kind of stuck in the mud, like wallowing and thinking about how awful this prior situation was and you were done wrong. I think Heath has a very good point about the interview situation. And I'm wondering how do you think people should deal with that? Let's say somebody was with an employer before and they had been done wrong and they were maybe something like they felt like they dealt with maybe some harassment or perhaps they hit all their marks but never got promoted. How do you think that they should explain that to a future employer while still being honest, but also like highlighting their positive attributes?
I would turn it around to highlighting your positive attributes. Somebody asks you, why did you leave that company? What happened? Well, it was a great time while I was there, and I got a lot of great learning opportunities, and I excelled at the task that I were given, and but the opportunity for that next level didn't seem like that was going to happen at that place, so I've looked elsewhere to take my talents and kind of use that.
As opposed to management stinks, they were disorganized.
It was the good old boys club that nobody was going to promote me. That's two different ways to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Both could be talking about the same.
Correct.
The same scenario. Yeah, I just think you
While
guys,
not lying.
if a contract deal didn't work out for you and you're someplace else, even if it's a team that you were like, oh man, they're not really as good. This new company's not as good. Yeah. We'll make them that good instead of spending the time thinking about what could have been or what should have been. I definitely used to do this. I would compare TV stations because I had one that really poured into my talents and I got to do these projects that I was obsessed with. And then it came to a screeching halt when I went to another station. And I felt like for a year, I kept thinking about, well, this other station let me, do this project. And, I was really fulfilled by that. And here I do this. Look, what a wasted year of content.
Did you find yourself maybe not as driven or anything at all because of that talk, you think? Do you think it affected your work?
Absolutely, because I was still given work to do, and it wasn't as spirit filled. But guess what Jenny could have done? I could have, instead of complaining about it to friends and family, I could have gone to my boss and said, hey, you're going to get so much more out of me if I can do this and then also work in this other type of story that I really like to cover. And he could say no, but at least I tried. It was wasted breath, and it's sad that it took me a year to realize that. But then I also knew, okay, rather than complaining about that, the next time I move, I know that thing fulfilled me and I'm just going to look for it again. But just, it's easy to look back at what has been.
Yeah.
It really is. Matt, what does this sports article make you think of?
Well, I think, to me, it dovetails nicely into our last conversation of where criticism is coming from, and also just kind of knowing what you should be worried about and what you shouldn't be worried about, right? And like y'all have said, spending your time worrying about, am I going to prove these people wrong? You're never going to, I don't know. I've found over time, you're never going to argue someone, rarely are you going to be able to argue or berate someone into seeing your point of view.
Yeah.
You're much better off just by living your life, going on about your own way and being not even saying I told you so, but just living out your proof that you are making the right decision for you, and maybe they didn't see it at the time, or maybe they did not appreciate you at the time, but they can see it, and maybe they can learn something from it, and maybe you can. But spending your time worrying about what people who you've left behind are thinking, you're not focusing on the stuff that's happening right now and right in front of you, right?
Well, and I think about it too. I mean, that's so true, Matt. And I think about it from what you kind of talked about, Jenny, is that it's that old, don't tell me what you're going to do, just do it, right? So, Tom Brady could have went out of there, cussing, hollering the Patriots, unloading all the dirty laundry, and there wouldn't have been near as people on his bandwagon rooting for him at all.
But it's because of the way, mic drop.
It is. It's such a big, that's so good. It's such a bigger mic drop when you just do it. I got a lot of salespeople that will come in and all talk about what they're going to do, and some of them don't. And I'm and then the people that say nothing kill it. And they get the most ultimate respect there is, because don't tell me what you're going to do. Just do it. Mm-hmm. It is much more satisfactory when you just do it.
There are certain people that works for.
Satisfying. Yeah. Satisfactory.
I think if you are Muhammad Ali and you can go out there and talk a mile of trash and then go back it up, that's great. What a great person, what a great part of your character that is.
But the downside of that is if you're Muhammad Ali and you run your mouth all that and you lose, they're going to come out in dozens, right? Sure. But if you didn't run your mouth, even in Muhammad Ali, and you won, people won't come down on you as hard.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, it's all about how much do you want to put out there? How much do you want to stake your claim on that? Some people that works for them, some people it doesn't. But I think for most of us normal folk out here, you're better off just like let them live their life. If they want to look over here and see how well I'm doing, then they're more than welcome to watch me. But I don't really care.
So I would tell you that be careful on burning bridges. Be careful about how you talk about the past. Don't let your past keep coming up into your future and comparison with all of it. And don't air out everybody's dirty laundry. You know, go be you. Find the internal forgiveness, whatever it may be, and then go out and be you. Improve it to yourself more than anybody else, and more people will be on your side ultimately at the end of the day when that comes down to it. Go out, be you, make it happen, shut up, and just do it. Be back in a minute on third segment, the second shot.
Okay, quick break to tell you guys about this closet situation. I told you we've been working with Closets by Design to figure out the laundry room area. This was an area that I tried to kind of piece together I tried to find a handyman, handy woman, handy lady, somebody to construct something for us, was not able to find it. I ordered some stuff online. It was a total disaster. We ended up working with Closets by Design, and I cannot tell you how good this laundry room turned out. I'm getting ready to put a video up on my Instagram page, but if you're looking for somebody to help you with a closet for just really any part of your house, your laundry room, your regular closet, someplace in the kitchen or the entryway, hit up Gia at Closets by Design. She maximized this space like you would not believe. I never thought I would be excited about a laundry room, but you can hear the excitement in my voice. It was just such a good experience. They came and did it in one afternoon. It looks like it was built into the house. That was the other thing that kept happening when I tried to order these random things online, is it looked very disjointed. So it looks like it was built with the original design. And now we have spaces for everything. Gia, I am obsessed. Obsessed. So the website is dallas.closetsbydesign.com. You will not regret it.
Before I get into the next part of It's So Perfect Time, when we talk about burning bridges when you leave places, I'm also going to talk about leaving a rating and review. Would be much appreciated. Leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. Or just share it on your social media. If you listened to this episode and you thought, hey, this was good, it's brought value, please click the button share right now and share it on social media to your friends or family, or send it to 2 or 3 friends or family, okay? Mm-hmm. It'll be nice, it'll be fun, and it'll help us. Great, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
That was nice, wasn't it?
It was. He just got lifted out of his shame mode. His teams are doing well, so he's on top. Yeah. He's being nice. So show him that kindness works. Tag us too if you guys want to, and we'll reshare if you're posting from a business account as well.
And Second Shot Facebook group, you can go look us up, join the group there, and you can join in on all the discussions. Next up is that we record here at RNCN. It's Real News Communication Network in Dallas, and this is where we record our podcast and do all that, where Matt has been working for how many years now?
About 5 years.
Yeah, about the time we started the podcast. You were pretty early on.
Pretty close, yeah.
And Matt, I'm just going to turn it over to him, let him drop his news.
Well, I mean, if that setup isn't obvious enough, this is, as of the recording, this is my last week. I've got 2 more days here. This is a Tuesday. I'm out on a Thursday. So yeah, I'm moving on to another place where I will be doing, I wouldn't say something similar, but something related, where I think I can be a little bit more hands-on creatively and do some different kinds of things that I'm very excited about. A lot more audio production, as you've heard me talk about on here. That's the kind of stuff that I really get into, and I don't get to do quite as much around here, and so I'm excited about that. So yeah, it has been awesome here. You know, I had a lot of trepidation leaving from radio, which I considered for almost my entire life to be like my calling. Like I thought this is what I was put on earth to do, was radio, from when I was like 3 years old. And leaving that industry to come to what's effectively a public relations firm was something that I was like, this is the only thing I can do. I don't really want to do it, but this is the only thing I can do to move my career if I want to make a little bit more money and feel a little bit better. And it's brought me so much more than I thought it would. And so that's a second shot in itself. Like, just I felt awful leaving radio, and I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I cried about it because I was like, this is what I want to do, and I'm having to leave it. But I never could have imagined the kind of place that I would end up with, the kind of people that I would work with, and the kind of people who I would now be sad to be leaving, including Second Shot here. I never could have thought that we'd all be working together, right?
Yeah.
So that you never know what's out there, and so you may be looking at a decision in front of you that seems like you got to take it, but keep faith that there could be something good for you on the other end of it. And there has been for me, and I'm sad to be going. And I hope that I will still be able to come back and do some second shots or whatever that means for second shot in the future. We'll be figuring that out as we go along, but I should still be allowed to come back and do the show as long as y'all will have me. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
So, it's interesting because I think that when we start off or when, unless people have super pushy parents, they go into a field that they think they're, hopefully going to enjoy and have a passion for, and creative jobs like going into radio it's a very specific industry, and it's a very creative, very niche. It's, these types of businesses, again, that are in the sort of creative realm, I think it's very confusing for people to figure out, oh no, how do I transfer this? Like, how do I do something that's sustainable? Okay, you could do that for a few years. How do I work until how long do people work now? Till they're like 65, 66? So it is, it's ever evolving. And I think that we need to teach our kids too, that college or picking a profession is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of what your career is going to unfold to be. Our parents, they all worked at one job for however many years, 30 or 40 years, and retired from that same thing. And it's a totally different ballgame now.
Yeah, I mean, what a different world it is to say I've been somewhere for 5 years, and that sounds like a long time.
It does,
right? Like for some people, it'd be like,
totally.
Well, you're just getting started, right?
Yeah,
but it's like, no. I mean, I worked in radio for over a decade, 11, 12 years, and then I worked here for 5, and hopefully I'll have my new gig for a number of years. But yeah, like you're right. It's like finding the little thread that goes through my life that says, this is the thing that I really care about. And I've been able to hang on to that for this whole time. And it's like I've moved from industry to industry, but I've always been able to focus on the thing that I really enjoyed, which is really just kind of like creating stuff like this. My first passion when I was growing up was listening to like old radio shows from the 30s and 40s, and like podcasting in a lot of ways.
Yes, you were such an old man.
I was such an old man, but like podcasting in a lot of ways is that. Like radio isn't that anymore, but podcasting is that.
Oh, I know. I know. One of our good friends works in radio right now, and she was just like, I'm just waiting for this thing to die. Like I am just literally waiting for my profession to just end one day, because it is, we've so many careers that people went to school for like 15, 20 years ago don't even exist anymore.
Right. So yeah, like your stuff will change over time, especially for people in industries like this, that like technology is changing it, or just things are phasing out and new things are coming in, and it may feel scary. It did feel scary for me. But I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on what I'm going to be doing. And, like I said, really, when I look back at it, at the last 5 years I had here, I don't think about the work that I made or the work that I've done or like the stuff that I've made. I think about like all the people that I have met along the way, and truly, I have the people that I've worked with here, and the people that I was about to say clients, but it's not really that. But I mean, y'all are technically clients of mine. But the people that I get to work with or create with are some of my favorite people I've ever met in my life, radio included. I don't talk to hardly any of those folks anymore, but I do remember these folks for like forever. And I really appreciate that.
Well, you're awesome, Matt. We're excited for you. I'm always excited to see somebody, start a new adventure and just see where it takes them. This show's fun. It's going to keep going. You guys know we're doing the Second Shot Sit Down episodes still they're on TV, which is still crazy for me to think about that some of our podcast episodes are on TV every Thursday if you're in Dallas. And I have to tell you, I'm worried about the headline from the last one, from the one that will have just come out when you get this. It's about quilting. But just don't sleep on this quilter. This woman is amazing. She had a tiny town, like one of those sleepy little towns, that had kind of gone under. You guys know, like a lot of you are probably from a hometown where you go back and you think, gosh, what happened to this 2 blocks here? It used to be lively and there's nothing here. She revitalized the entire thing. It's now called Quilt Town USA. People come from all over the country, and she shares her business philosophy, her message, how she weaves her family into her business. It's a really remarkable story. I found her to be just delightful and unique, because a lot of times in this space where you're talking about maybe personal development or growth, it's like the same person saying the same thing over and over. Everyone kind of like here's one philosophy and they just share it. She was a totally different ballgame. So I hope that you guys like Jenny Doan. She is the founder of Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it's not about quilting.
That's awesome. Yeah, Matt, hopefully we get you able to come and be on the episode. It may not be as much as it always has been, because you have a job that you have to be doing too.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is my job is not necessarily a strictly 9-to-5 job. It varies based on when things need to get done. So that means very likely that I could be available in the middle of the day on a Tuesday like it is today. So I more than likely will be able to make it. Hopefully, with enough notice, we can work things out.
So this isn't goodbye. This is just maybe not see you as much.
Congrats on the new thing.
And congrats on the new thing. And
y'all will have a new producer over.
Yeah, we'll have a new one that'll come stepping in for sure. Where can they find you?
Okay, you guys, Second Shot Facebook group, hit us up. Let us know if you're going to do the blessing of the animals. Facebook.com/groups/Second Shot.
You can find me on Instagram, of course, at MattStoker1. That is Matt Stoker, the numeral 1. And of course, like I always like to say, if you're into true crime reporter, you can find me. I produce that show. We won a Webby for the best new true crime podcast. It's worth it, I promise you. It's great, very interesting story. Find me there, and hopefully I'll have new things to talk about next time I'm around.
At Heath Oaks and at Ignorance on Fire on Instagram is really the best place to link up with me at, but you can get me on Facebook as well. And in the Second Shot Facebook group, I'll be in there hanging around as much as possible. But we love y'all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.